As we journey through life, there comes a time when the chase for worldly success, approval, and material gains begins to lose its grip. For many, this awakening becomes clear around the age of 70, a sacred threshold where deeper truths about life, happiness, and inner peace reveal themselves. From a Buddhist perspective, aging is not a decline but a blossoming, a time when the mind, if cultivated with mindfulness, wisdom, and compassion, can reach its fullest clarity. In the teachings of the Buddha, life is likened to a river, constantly flowing and changing. Our attachments, fears, and ambitions are like debris floating on the surface, temporary, unstable, and ultimately insubstantial. As we age, the river's currents slow, offering us the rare gift to observe with deeper stillness and insight. In today's video, we will gently explore 9 profound truths that tend to become clear after the age of 70, illuminated through the timeless lens of Buddhist wisdom. These truths are not burdens, but doorways to liberation, guiding us toward mindfulness, non-attachment, and the cultivation of true inner peace. Whether you are already walking this sacred path or are preparing for the journey ahead, these reflections will offer guidance, comfort, and strength. We invite you to settle your mind, open your heart, and walk with us through these insights, allowing each truth to nurture your spiritual growth and emotional clarity. This journey is not about reaching a destination, but about seeing life with wiser, more compassionate eyes. Let us begin by reflecting on the first truth: why chasing status is an endless cycle of illusion. In the world today, it is common to see people, especially in their youth and middle years, spending much of their energy chasing after recognition, seeking titles, collecting awards, and craving approval from others. Yet, as the Buddha wisely taught, status is like a mirage in the desert. It promises satisfaction but delivers only thirst. The Dhammapada captures this timeless truth: victory breeds hatred. The defeated live in pain. Happily the peaceful live, giving up victory and defeat. When we pursue status, we inevitably entangle ourselves in a relentless cycle of competition, comparison, and dissatisfaction. No matter how high one climbs, there is always another summit to conquer, another rival to outshine, and another craving that whispers for more. The deeper one is caught in this race, the further one drifts from genuine peace. By the time 70 years have passed, many begin to look back and realize that status is fleeting. Today's celebrated hero becomes tomorrow's forgotten figure. The applause that once seemed so essential fades into silence, and what remains is not the accolades gathered but the state of one's own heart. Buddhist wisdom gently reminds us that true contentment does not come from external achievements but from the quiet, steady cultivation of inner virtues: kindness, compassion, mindfulness, and self-restraint. When we release the tight grip of our need for status, we liberate ourselves from the exhausting treadmill of endless striving. Like the lotus flower that rises above muddy waters without being stained, the mind that frees itself from worldly illusions blooms into a serenity untouched by the world's judgments. Nature offers us simple yet profound metaphors. Imagine the towering trees in a deep, quiet forest. They do not compete for attention or compare their heights. Each tree grows steadily, deeply rooted in its own being, fulfilling its purpose without fanfare. Similarly, aging offers us a profound invitation to let go of pretense and root ourselves in the richness of presence. Through mindfulness, we come to see clearly that every craving for recognition and praise is another link added to the heavy chain of suffering. The freedom we seek does not come from winning more admiration but from stepping out of the entire cycle, choosing instead a life of simplicity, compassion, and gentle self-liberation. In the later seasons of life, we understand that it is no longer about being seen by others. It is about seeing clearly with our own eyes, recognizing the fleeting nature of worldly praise and turning inward to cultivate a peace that no external award could ever give. In letting go of the need for status, we do not lose anything essential. Rather, we gain the priceless treasure of inner freedom and enduring contentment. Now let us gently move to the second truth: freedom from others' opinions. In our younger years, it often feels as though the opinions of others have the power to shape our very lives. Like heavy winds blowing upon an unanchored boat, the judgments and expectations of society push and pull us in every direction. We strive to please, to impress, to fit in, to be seen as successful, worthy, or admirable in the eyes of others. Yet, the Buddha compassionately warned us about the dangers of clinging to external validation, teaching that relying on the shifting moods of the world is like trying to steady a vessel in a raging storm without any anchor to the earth below. He said, "Be a lamp unto yourselves, be your own refuge." In these simple but profound words, the Buddha points us toward a liberating truth, that true guidance, peace, and certainty arise not from the changing voices around us, but from the steady flame of our own inner wisdom. As the years pass, and especially by the time we reach 70, many come to realize that the opinions of others are merely projections of their own thoughts and experiences, not absolute truths about who we are. Praise and blame swirl around like unpredictable weather, sometimes warm and inviting, sometimes cold and biting, but none of it defines our true nature. To base our self-worth on such unstable forces is to live in a state of endless anxiety, always chasing approval and fearing rejection. Instead, the path of mindfulness and Buddhist wisdom shows us another way. Imagine a still mountain lake, high above the bustling valleys of the world. Whether sunlight or clouds move across its surface, its deep waters remain calm and undisturbed. In the same way, a mind rooted in mindfulness and non-attachment stays serene amidst the passing storms of judgment and opinion. Freedom blossoms when we cease to let either criticism or praise disturb the deep stillness within us. True confidence is not loud, boastful, or defensive. It is quiet, steady, and unshakable, born not from the shifting approval of others, but from a profound self-knowledge cultivated through years of gentle observation and compassionate understanding. We come to understand, with a soft smile, that being misunderstood or criticized is not a failure. It is simply a fact of human life. Even the Buddha himself, a being of supreme wisdom and compassion, faced misunderstanding and criticism during his lifetime. Through practicing mindfulness, we train ourselves to observe our own reactions to others' words without clinging to them. We see that no praise can add to our worth, just as no criticism can take anything essential away. Our true value lies in our being, not in the shifting reflections cast upon us by others. As aging ripens our perspective, we find a deep and lasting relief in letting go of the need to be liked or approved by everyone. We no longer adjust ourselves like a reed bending to every gust of wind. Instead, we stand firmly rooted in compassion, wisdom, and authentic kindness, living truthfully and mindfully, whether praised or blamed. And it is in this sacred freedom that true spiritual growth unfolds. We no longer live as prisoners of other people's perceptions but as free beings, walking the path of peace, carrying the gentle lamp of our own awareness to guide us. Thus, we step closer to the inner liberation that the Buddha so patiently and lovingly taught. As we continue our journey of reflection, let us now turn to the third truth, the truth about material possessions and happiness. Throughout much of life, we are conditioned to believe that the accumulation of material things will bring lasting happiness. A larger house, a newer car, fine clothing, and impressive possessions, these are often seen as symbols of success and fulfillment. Yet, from the perspective of Buddhist wisdom, we see that this pursuit is like trying to fill a basket with water. No matter how much we pour in, it is never enough to bring true satisfaction. The Buddha taught, the craving of one who lives heedlessly grows like a creeper. He jumps from life to life like a monkey seeking fruit in the forest. In chasing material wealth, we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of endless wanting. Each new acquisition quickly loses its shine, and the restless mind soon desires more. The heart remains hungry, no matter how much the hands possess. By the time we reach 70, a profound truth often becomes clear: happiness cannot be purchased, owned, or stored away. The objects we once coveted lose their appeal. Belongings age, break, or become burdens. What remains meaningful are not the things we gathered but the experiences we lived, the love we shared, and the peace we cultivated within. Consider the blooming flower. It delights not because it owns anything, but because it simply exists in full expression of its nature. It draws nourishment from the earth, drinks the rain, and opens to the sun without clinging to any possession. In the same way, The soul that releases attachment to material goods finds itself naturally blooming in the light of inner freedom. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our attachments with gentle awareness. We begin to see how much mental energy we expend in acquiring, maintaining, and worrying over possessions. Each item we cling to can quietly tie a thread around the heart, creating unseen burdens. Freedom comes when we loosen these threads, letting go with gratitude rather than fear. Living simply does not mean living in poverty or deprivation. Rather, it means cultivating a heart that is rich in contentment, generosity, and peace. A simple life, grounded in mindful awareness, brings a wealth that no amount of gold could equal. True abundance is found in a mind free from grasping and a heart full of compassion. As the Buddha so often emphasized, non-attachment does not mean rejecting the world or living with bitterness. It means engaging with life fully, but without clinging, knowing that all things are impermanent. Houses, clothing, and possessions may serve us for a time, but they are not the source of lasting happiness. They are tools, not treasures of the soul. When we understand this, a great lightness enters our lives. We appreciate what we have without being possessed by it. We share generously, knowing that true wealth is found in giving, not hoarding. And we walk the earth with lighter footsteps, carrying only what is needed, and freeing our hands to offer kindness wherever we go. In this freedom from material craving, real happiness quietly reveals itself. It is the happiness of a mind at peace, a heart unburdened, and a spirit that soars beyond the fleeting pleasures of the material world. This is the timeless happiness that the Buddha gently invites each of us to discover, not by adding more to our lives, but by letting go and awakening to the simple, boundless joy within. Now we arrive at the fourth truth to reflect on, the hidden cost of perfectionism and how to break free. Perfectionism often whispers to us that it is a noble pursuit, a dedication to high standards, a refusal to accept mediocrity. Yet beneath its polished surface lies a hidden burden, one that Buddhist wisdom gently exposes. The Buddha reminds us, there is no fire like passion, no shark like hatred, no snare like folly, no torrent like craving. Perfectionism is a subtle craving, an endless thirst to shape the world, ourselves, and others into rigid ideals that reality rarely fulfills. As the years pass, particularly by the time 70 summers have come and gone, many begin to see the deep cost of this attachment. Perfectionism steals joy from the present moment, clouds the heart with dissatisfaction, and fosters a restless sense that no achievement is ever enough. In the light of Buddhist teaching, the way to healing is not to lower our aspirations, but to free ourselves from clinging to outcomes. Right effort, part of the Noble Eightfold Path, teaches us to act skillfully and wholeheartedly without being trapped by success or failure. We can imagine a wise gardener who plants seeds with care, waters them, tends to them daily, yet surrenders the fruits to the rhythms of nature. She labors with love, not with force, embodying the spirit of mindful action free from grasping. Likewise, mindfulness invites us to pour ourselves fully into each task, each moment, cherishing the sincerity and compassion we bring, rather than demanding perfection from the results. Perfectionism softens its hold when we truly internalize the impermanent nature of all things. Every piece of work, every step, every effort is fleeting, and its value lies in the heart with which it was made, not its flawlessness. Aging gracefully reveals that true beauty shines most brightly through imperfections, like the worn stones of an ancient temple, whose cracks and weathering tell a story more profound than any unblemished surface ever could. In letting go of perfectionism, we reclaim the simple, liberating joy of being alive. We make peace with our humanity, our mistakes, and our limitations. We realize that the goal is not to perfect life, but to live it with open-heartedness and wisdom. The chains of self-criticism and impossible standards fall away, and in their place grows a deeper serenity, a gentler love for ourselves and others. Freeing ourselves from the hidden cost of perfectionism is not a loss. It is a great gain, opening the door to inner peace, authentic connection, and the quiet happiness that arises when we accept life just as it is, with gratitude and grace. Moving gently into the fifth truth we must reflect upon, we explore why relationships matter more than achievements. Throughout our lives, we are often conditioned to measure our worth through our accomplishments, career milestones, titles, accolades, and material success. These external markers are held up as symbols of a life well lived. Yet Buddhist wisdom quietly invites us to look deeper, to recognize that as we near the later stages of life, it is not the number of achievements we list, but the quality of our relationships that truly nourishes the heart and spirit. The Buddha, in his infinite compassion, once said, "A good friend who is wise and virtuous is the whole of the spiritual life." In these few words, he illuminated a profound truth: relationships based on trust, compassion, and mutual respect sustain in ways that no worldly success ever could. By the time 70 candles flicker gently atop the birthday cake, many find that the trophies and awards of youth gather dust in forgotten corners, but the memories of shared laughter, acts of kindness, and moments of genuine connection shine brightly in the mind's eye. Achievements fade quietly into the background, while the bonds we have cultivated with others, our friendships, our family ties, our communities, stand resilient and strong. We can liken this to a grand banquet hall, magnificently decorated and filled with the finest foods, yet utterly hollow and meaningless if no beloved guests are present to share in its splendor. No matter how splendid the surroundings, it is companionship that breathes life into it all. Similarly, Buddhist mindfulness practices, especially the cultivation of loving kindness or metta, urge us to actively foster goodwill toward all beings. We learn to rejoice in the happiness of others, to wish them well, and even to hold those who have wronged us within the soft light of compassion. Relationships, in their beautiful complexity, teach us patience, forgiveness, humility, and generosity, qualities that refine the spirit and dissolve the hardened edges of ego. It is often in these interactions, with their joys and their inevitable sorrows, that true spiritual growth finds its richest soil. As the seasons of life advance, it becomes luminously clear: our worth is not counted by the monuments we have built, but by how deeply we have loved, how gently we have cared, and how willingly we have forgiven. Achievements, though they may seem towering at first, eventually vanish like footprints washed away by the endless tides. But relationships, rooted in genuine kindness, mindful presence, and open-heartedness, leave ripples that travel far beyond the confines of our individual lives, touching others and inspiring goodness long after we are gone. To grow old wisely is to treasure these connections, to prioritize the weaving of love and compassion into the very fabric of our days, knowing that in the final measure, it is love, not success, that will illuminate the path home. Arriving now at the sixth truth in our reflection, we turn to a realization that touches every living being, the understanding captured in the title "The Fleeting Nature of Time," and why you must act now. In the blink of an eye, entire decades pass away. Childhood, youth, middle age, all glide by as swiftly and silently as the changing seasons, often without our noticing until the signs of time become impossible to ignore. The Buddha, with profound compassion, reminded us that time is swift, uncertain, and beyond our control. He taught, "This life is swept along, it is brief, and there is no shelter from aging and death." Far from intending to stir fear, these words are an urgent call to awaken, to see clearly the fleeting beauty and rare opportunity that each moment offers. As the years gather and 70 autumns have painted the trees of life, it becomes strikingly clear how precious time truly is. We recognize with a quiet certainty that every moment wasted in anger, regret, or distraction is a treasure that can never be reclaimed. Mindfulness, at its heart, is the art of honoring the present. It sharpens our awareness of the sacredness found in each breath, each sunrise, each tender smile, and each act of kindness. It teaches us not to postpone living, to express our love now, to forgive now, to pursue the dreams tucked away in the corners of our hearts, and to find wonder in the smallest details of today. Reflect for a moment on the falling leaves of autumn, each one perfect in its descent, each journey unique, each life brief. There is a serene beauty in their impermanence, a reminder that to resist change is to resist life itself. Recognizing this truth does not lead to sorrow but to a profound deepening of joy, a gentle but firm resolve to live more wisely, more compassionately, and more mindfully with the time we are given. In Buddhist practice, daily reflection on impermanence is not a grim exercise but a luminous one, opening our eyes to the miracle of existence unfolding moment by moment. We are urged not to wait, not to delay our pursuit of peace, our acts of kindness, our expressions of gratitude, or our spiritual awakening, until a tomorrow that may never come. The path to fulfillment, to inner peace, to the flowering of true wisdom is not in some distant future but here, right now, beneath our very feet. Aging, with its quiet wisdom, teaches us a truth both humbling and liberating: the time to live fully, to love deeply, and to awaken to life's deepest truths is always now, never later. It is a gentle but urgent reminder to cherish the life flowing through us this very moment, to act with heart and courage, and to step each day onto the path of mindfulness, compassion, and presence with gratitude for the fleeting yet radiant gift of time. We now come to the seventh truth in our journey of reflection, gently opening our hearts to the understanding shared in how true happiness comes from within. Throughout life, it is common for many of us to search outward for happiness, toward relationships, achievements, possessions, and experiences, believing that fulfillment lies somewhere beyond ourselves. Yet the Buddha, with his timeless compassion, patiently reminds us, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. External circumstances, no matter how dazzling or comforting they may seem, are like shifting sands, ever-changing and never fully within our control. Happiness built upon them, therefore, remains fleeting, rising and falling like the tide. As we grow older and 70 years have blessed our lives with their lessons, many begin to see with greater clarity that the pursuit of external pleasures, though enticing, offers only temporary satisfaction. Lasting peace, true and unwavering, blooms quietly within, patiently nourished by mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom cultivated through the ups and downs of life. Picture a lamp that shines from within a house, casting its gentle light outward regardless of the darkness beyond its walls. This lamp is the mind trained in right understanding and non-attachment. A mind that remains steady even in the face of sorrow, change, or loss. Practices such as meditation, loving kindness, and mindful reflection invite us to turn inward, revealing a wellspring of joy that was always waiting within us. We begin to delight in the simple, sacred moments of daily life, the warmth of sunlight on our skin, the delicate sweetness of ripe fruit, the sound of a child's laughter echoing through the air. These seemingly ordinary experiences, when fully embraced, uncover the extraordinary richness already present in existence. True happiness, Buddhist wisdom teaches, is not a prize to be won through relentless striving, nor a treasure to be given by others. It is our natural state, gently revealed when we loosen our grip on craving, aversion, and delusion. It arises when we live harmoniously with the ever-changing flow of life, when we accept impermanence with a heart softened by grace, and when we cultivate loving kindness as the steady rhythm of our days. As we age, the discovery of this inner joy becomes a treasure more precious than any gold or jewel. It is a gift that no worldly event can take away, a peace untouched by the rise and fall of health, wealth, reputation, or circumstances. The wise who have walked the path before us have seen it clearly. Happiness is not something we find outside ourselves. It is something we realize, something we awaken to within the quiet chambers of our own hearts. In this realization, there is great freedom and even greater peace, an enduring happiness that welcomes all seasons of life with open arms and an open heart. As we reflect on the eighth truth, we explore the profound message found in health is the real wealth. In our youth, it is easy to take health for granted, assuming it is an endless resource, something that will always be there. Yet, as the Buddha wisely taught, health is among life's greatest blessings. Health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship. Without good health, even the finest treasures lose their luster. As we age and the years accumulate, many come to understand the depth of these words. A body that moves with ease, a mind that rests in clarity, and a heart that is filled with peace, these are worth far more than any worldly achievement, for they are the foundation upon which a joyful, meaningful life is built. In Buddhist teachings, there is an emphasis on caring for the body not out of vanity or self-obsession, but out of reverence. The body is seen as a sacred vessel, a temple through which we experience life, and a precious vehicle for spiritual practice. It is through this body that we learn, grow, and deepen our understanding of the world. Therefore, health is not something to be taken for granted, but something to be nurtured and protected with mindfulness and care. Like a delicate flower, health must be treated gently, with tenderness and respect. Mindful eating, gentle exercise, restful sleep, and mental tranquility all contribute to the well-being of the body and mind. Neglecting our health is like neglecting the roots of a tree, which, over time, causes the entire structure to weaken. Buddhist wisdom also helps us prepare for the inevitable changes of aging, teaching us that the body will age, and ailments will arise. However, rather than resist these natural changes, we are encouraged to accept them with grace and equanimity. By embracing the impermanence of the body and mind, we can avoid the suffering that comes with attachment to youth or perfection. The goal is not to preserve our youthful appearance forever, but to honor the life we have in this moment, caring for it with love, attention, and acceptance, all while recognizing that change is inevitable. True health is not merely the absence of illness, it is a holistic state where body, mind, and heart exist in harmony. When we treasure our health, we are honoring the very life we have been given, and in doing so, we walk the path of mindfulness, compassion, and wisdom with steady, grateful steps. Health is a blessing, a wealth that cannot be measured in material terms but is felt deeply in every breath, in every moment of peace, in every step taken mindfully upon the earth. As we arrive at the final truth, we reflect deeply on the pointlessness of holding grudges. Grudges are a heavy burden, often carried through life without us realizing the weight they impose. The Buddha, in his infinite wisdom, spoke about forgiveness and the liberation it brings. He said, "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die." In these words, the Buddha emphasizes the self-inflicted suffering that comes from clinging to past wrongs. When we hold a grudge, we are not punishing the person who wronged us. Instead, we are harming ourselves. The anger, resentment, and bitterness that we harbor only poison our own hearts and minds, preventing us from experiencing peace and joy. By holding on to a grudge, we keep the past alive in our hearts, perpetuating the suffering long after the event has passed. Over time, this can become a barrier to our own happiness, preventing us from living fully in the present moment. As we grow older and reflect on our lives, many of us come to realize that the grudges we once held were ultimately inconsequential. The people who wronged us may have moved on, while we remain tethered to the pain, replaying old wounds over and over. When we hold a grudge, we deny ourselves the freedom that forgiveness brings. Buddhist teachings remind us that forgiveness is not an act of weakness, but one of strength and wisdom. To forgive is to release ourselves from the chains of resentment and to reclaim our peace. It is a gift we give to ourselves, not to the person who hurt us. True freedom comes when we let go of the past and no longer allow it to define us. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the suffering that keeps us locked in negative emotions. It allows us to heal and move forward with a lighter heart, open to love and compassion. The practice of forgiveness is deeply tied to mindfulness. By cultivating awareness, we can recognize the grip of anger and choose to release it, understanding that it no longer serves us. Mindfulness teaches us that every moment is an opportunity to start anew, to let go of past grievances and embrace the present with an open heart. The Buddha also taught that all beings are interconnected. When we hold a grudge, we create division and separation between ourselves and others. Forgiveness bridges that gap, reminding us of our shared humanity. We all make mistakes, and we all have moments where we hurt others, intentionally or unintentionally. Recognizing this truth allows us to approach others with empathy and understanding, instead of clinging to past offenses. Holding grudges also blocks our capacity for loving kindness. By letting go of resentment, we make space for compassion, for both ourselves and others. As we age, we often realize that the things that once seemed so important, the hurts, the slights, the offenses, lose their significance. The energy we spent on holding grudges could have been used to nourish our relationships, our peace, and our inner joy. In the end, life is too short to hold on to anger. The Buddha's teachings guide us toward letting go, embracing forgiveness, and finding peace within. Letting go of grudges does not mean forgetting or condoning the hurtful actions of others, but rather freeing ourselves from the emotional shackles that bind us to the past. In this way, we can live with greater ease, joy, and connection, knowing that the only way to truly heal is through the power of forgiveness. As we come to the end of our exploration of the 9 profound truths, we reflect on the deep wisdom they offer, especially in the context of aging. In modern society, aging is often misunderstood, feared, or seen as a loss, yet through the lens of Buddhist teachings, aging is not a diminishment but a deepening, a sacred unfolding of insight, compassion, and peace. The 9 truths we've discussed are not burdens, but blessings that light the path toward a life of greater mindfulness, non-attachment, and inner freedom. They encourage us to release illusions and cultivate what truly matters: love, compassion, and presence. The Buddha's teachings remind us that status fades, opinions shift, possessions decay, and time slips away, yet love endures and awareness remains. True happiness, true wealth, and true peace are not found in external achievements or possessions. They arise from within, nurtured by a heart that has learned to forgive, love without conditions, and embrace the present moment with gratitude. As we age, these truths become even clearer. The journey towards spiritual growth is not confined by age or circumstance. It is available to anyone who chooses to walk the path with sincerity, regardless of where they find themselves in life. We invite you to continue walking this path with us at Mindful Pathway Media. Let mindfulness be your compass, compassion be your guide, and wisdom illuminate your way. If this message has resonated with you, please consider subscribing and sharing it with others who may be seeking peace of mind, emotional clarity, and spiritual growth. Your support helps us continue to create content that nurtures a global community of mindful living. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. May you find freedom from suffering, may your heart be light, and may your spirit be at peace. Remember, the journey is not about perfection but about presence, living fully in each moment, embracing the love we give and receive, and cultivating the awareness that brings us peace. Until next time, stay mindful, stay compassionate, and stay free.